And we're live. Hello, everybody watching at the moment. It's probably not anybody yet. Welcome, guys. Curtis, thank you for joining us tonight. Is this your first like YouTube live stream deal?
Second, actually. I did
Yeah.
one with Racer Joe once, so I'm
He's a
still
good dude.
to the
He's,
live stream. So
he's a good dude. I asked Joe's kind of my go-to guy when I need a call up. He's like, damn, I want to do it, but I guess he had family obligations. Hello, Richard.
Hey, Richard.
So Joe couldn't fill in, but I'm very excited. Curtis and I finally get to do something in real time together, which is great. We are waiting on Music Talk with John. He's going to be joining us, but he just sent me a text message. He's racing home, and he'll be on in a few minutes. So
Sweet.
Sam may or may not join us later on in the evening. He had familial obligations as well. So hence I'm calling this call-ups from AAA, because
Nice.
baseball reference.
Yeah,
But let's not talk about baseball. Everyone in the comments, don't ask me because I'll go off on a big rant about what I think about the Jays, and we just don't want to do that. So, how are you guys doing? Everything good? Everything?
Yeah, man. Just
Yeah?
busy, but otherwise good.
Good. I'm on holidays this week. I had to take kind of like I hadn't taken holidays in months and months, and I just said to my boss, I need a week or I'm going to lose my shit. So I took a week, and I have done nothing.
well, that's the
That's
best.
great.
Oh,
It's a good time of year to do nothing. Well, actually, it's a good time of year to do a lot done outside. I don't know what kind of yard you have, but like this is like the time to.
I got a decent sized yard.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that always has to have the perfectly manicured lawn, so I did do that today. But
Nice.
before I went on holidays, the wife's like, make sure you do nothing and just relax. Every day, I've had a nap in the morning and a nap in the afternoon, which has been wonderful. Went out for breakfast this morning. I have just done absolutely nothing. I haven't even looked at my phone. It's just been
That's great, man. Good for you.
it's been pure bliss. My phone's been blowing up, even though I'm the boss at work, and I've just said to everybody, don't call me, don't email me, I will not answer. I don't care if the place is on fire, I'm not answering. You people figure it out. And they have been, so.
That is great.
That is good. That is good. So I didn't ever really any
record stores in your week off?
Well, yes. I did do some record shopping. So the record stores around where I live are not great. So there's two in the town that I live in. One of them sucks because and I've hated this place for a decade. It's like it's records, but it's also like used CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays. And it's run by some hipsters. And they're assholes.
You sound so old.
Oh, but here's the thing, right? Is they're snobby, pretentious dicks. And if you've heard of the artist, they won't stock it in the store because it's too commercial. Off, right?
Not doing a lot of good for the hobby or for music appreciation.
No, and I've seen them be absolute assholes to people that come in and be like, "Do you have Fleetwood Mac rumors?" No, why would we have that? You can get that they're just total dicks. So I don't go there.
It's like that movie High Fidelity. They're all like snobs at the store, and they're
right.
They treat everyone like lesser people.
Then there's this tiny record store downtown, which is awesome. But hello, Music Sanctuary.
Hey man, how are you?
It's run by the girl that used to own our local Sunrise Records, and when they changed or whatever, she bought this local place, and it's fantastic. But it's so small that you can really only go there like every 2 months or so because you're going to see the same stuff. So there hasn't been a lot, but
I thought you would have had more stores there. You have a pretty big population. You would think that there'd be more. But
you would think, but there's not. So I can go to the next town over, and there's like 2 record stores. But again, if you go there more than like once a month, it's the same stuff. So there isn't really a lot around here. If I want to drive an hour, there's tons, but I always get the hankering. There's like 3 different antique malls within like a half an hour. I'm like, I like to go to the antique malls. I don't give a shit about antiques, but it's like the ones where they have like 100 different vendors in this antique mall. And Some will have like a little crate of records. And so on the weekend, I'm like, I got the itch. I want to go to the antique mall. So my wife is always game, but I got a 7-year-old. So I'm like, it's trying to convince him. Because he knows if I say, let's go to the antique mall, he goes, are we going to look at records? I'm like, well, Daddy's going to look at records, but maybe you can find a book or some old Lego or whatever the hell, right? So he's like, all right, let's go. So we went, and I made off like a bandit. It was great. So I'm on a big Springsteen kick. Right. So I'm concentrating on the early stuff. And I stumbled across Tunnel of Love, which great.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
a good one.
It's very 80s sounding, but I really dig it. And I also stumbled across this live EP called Chimes of Freedom.
Okay.
That was the one you sent the picture of in the group chat, eh? Was that
Yeah.
That's huge.
So I got that. And then the live 5 LP box set.
Oh, wow.
Unreal, man.
Now, some moron in the past had put stickers on here, so a little bit of but I went, the records are pristine. I don't know that they've ever been played.
I've seen that once, and it was in such terrible shape I couldn't even bring it home, even for like the minimal amount of money.
I picked it up for $40. I'm like, you know what? That was a good day at the antique mall. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with that. So, yeah. That was my record adventure. So, how about you guys?
Vaginals popped in there, Rob.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Mr. Dependable.
Or Mrs. I don't know.
Right? Glad you slipped in. Yeah. It's funny we're talking about Tunnel of Love and Vaginal joins us. So what's that say?
I love it.
Oh, another love tunnel.
Yeah. What about you, Curtis? Is there any stores kind of in your neck of the woods? Like,
there's a small shop. Well, actually, we had two for a little while. One fella just did all used. It was kind of I guess he had a big collection himself, and then he had like a flood, and so he lost a lot of his collection. Ooh. So he was buying a lot of stuff back and just kind of amassed like all these stuff he didn't want. So he kind of opened a secondhand shop just to, I think, if I gather correctly from the story he told me, it was just kind of to get rid of what he didn't want, basically, right? Yeah. While he was trying to get back everything he lost over the years. But he's gone now. I hadn't been there in probably 6 or 7 months, and I went to go back, and it was closed up, and I didn't even know he was gone. So we're down to just one. It's a decent little place. It's pretty small, so they don't have a lot of variety, but new stuff. He's got it's a decent used section, but yeah, it is a small shop, right? So there's not a lot there.
So where do you get most of the stuff? Because when you do like your recent pickups, you usually pick up a whole bunch of stuff. Where do you normally get it from?
Geez, I don't know. Like I'd get a lot off like Facebook Marketplace and things like that. So like just recently, I picked up a little reggae score. Not many, just 3 or 4. But that was I was off in Halifax this weekend, just past. And so I was able to get out to the record shops there and had enough time to meet up with someone on Facebook Marketplace who had a few things, right? So yeah, and then just kind of always looking, always looking. And then my new stuff I get a lot on Amazon and those kinds of places, right?
Sunrise Records sucks. You have a problem with a record, they will exchange it for the same album or store credit, no refunds. Yeah, you know what? I mean, we thought Sunrise was going to be a good thing because when all the HMVs went tits up and Sunrise took over most of the locations, everyone went, wow, that's great of Sunrise. We still have a Canadian record store chain. Yeah. Not done well. I mean, So I'm in a city of 140,000 people, and there was a Sunrise at the mall, and it was a big one. And now they've downgraded. And since Sunrise, I guess, bought FYE, For Your Entertainment, which is a similar kind of store in the States, our Sunrise is now an FYE. And I don't even count that as a local record store. I hate it with a passion because, you know, the mall's open from 10 in the morning till 9 at night or whatever it is. And I'm not kidding you. The last 4 times, oh, here's John. Here's John. Here's John. How you doing, man?
Good.
Finally good. John, do you know Curtis?
No. Hey, Curtis.
No, we haven't met. Hey, John.
Good to meet you.
Likewise.
Curtis is Young LP Lovers in Nova Scotia, and John's down in Florida. Music Talk with John. We're just bitching about Sunrise Records here, John, so I'll finish my rant real quick. Okay. I've been to the Sunrise or FYE in my mall the last 4 times in a row. I've got there in the middle of mall hours, 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and every bloody time the friggin' gates close and there's a post-it note back in 30 minutes. And I'm just like, what are the odds? I come at 4 different times and the guy's not there every bloody time. It's like I refuse to spend a dime at that stupid place anymore.
They have a Ring camera outside their store and they see you coming.
They see me coming and
sign up.
Gotta go.
Rob's gonna bitch on the live stream again.
And yeah. don't they know that I am a world famous YouTube celebrity watched by tens of people every week?
They take their chances. They do what they gotta do.
I haven't unleashed the fury of my following of dozens.
Yeah.
Is everybody safe and sound tonight? Well, I can tell you who is safe and sound. Vaginal is safe and sound. So, what's new there, John? What's going on?
I just ran in the door. You know, my wife's like, "Hey, we just need to run to Costco for a minute," and I'm like, okay. So,
say, honey, I've got a very important. The public is awaiting me.
Yeah. So now I'm
and she'll probably go, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Still putting my drink together. They have this at Costco. I'm going to try this.
What is it?
Old-fashioned cocktail.
Right,
there you go.
Yeah. So, but no, just been doing a couple videos. I did one today. I got to edit and get that out. And been going through records. I have so many that I bought between record store day and now. And so I've been making some headway through those.
I watched your Taylor Swift video.
Yeah,
of course.
I think it was fair. I think it was fair. Yeah,
I absolutely. While I don't share your opinion, I absolutely get why. What I liked about it. Mm-hmm. There you go.
There it is.
There it is. I'll show something Taylor in just a second. I liked it because what you did is you gave it an honest, open-minded opinion. There's a lot of people that go, yeah, it's pop shit. I'm not gonna, whatever. If that's your thing, cool, don't. But I love that you gave it an actual honest. I'm going to see what the fuss is about. So
well, you got to do that with everything, right? If we're not honest on these channels, what's the point? If we're just going to sit there and go, I hate this, I'm going to make it look as bad as possible.
Right.
I'd rather be wrong and go, wow, I had this opinion, and unfortunately, it wasn't on this one, but I still have hope. Maybe there's something out there. I'll keep an ear out for her.
I'll show me one Taylor thing real quick. This is a bootleg, not a bootleg, a pirated LP. But Speak Now World Tour Live came out on Blu-ray, came out on CD, but someone in Europe has released it on a double LP gold vinyl. So I'm like, gotta pick it up because I'm that kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
No, it was a good video, John. I liked it.
Cool.
Liked it a lot.
There's one that came out too that I've been looking for. I'm not a Dave Matthews guy, but they finally released Some Devil. I don't know if you've heard that album.
Yeah. There you go.
You got it already. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yesterday, I pre-ordered it. I was so pumped for this.
Do you have the colored vinyl or just the black?
It's just the black. I just pre-ordered through Amazon, but I don't even know what color the colored one is. But
yeah, there's some noise on that, from what I understand.
I actually haven't listened the whole way through, but I put one track on today, and it happened to be like the inner track, so I think it was a little bit of distortion. But I remember, like, when I bought the CD when it came out, like, this is just a really well recorded album. And Chris Bellman, for the audiophile nerds out there, Chris Bellman did this, and so I was pretty stoked. As soon as I saw that, I pre-ordered it immediately.
Yeah.
So I haven't listened to it all yet, but here's hoping it's decent.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those albums I'm waiting for to finally hit vinyl.
Yeah, I can't believe it wasn't out already on vinyl, but whatever.
Yeah, they take their time on some of them.
Music Sanctuary saying HMV's making comeback. I had heard that was true in England. I don't know that that's true here, though. I think it's just in England that HMV is starting to reopen some stores. So,
speaking of Taylor,
it says they have started in Ontario. Interesting. I'm going to look where that is.
When I was at Walmart the other day, and there was a Taylor Swift LP there. First time I've seen vinyl in Walmart here in Canada.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really? Yeah, we have big sections here in the States.
I wish. I thought maybe it'd be the thin wedge. Maybe we're going to get more vinyl in Walmart.
I think that would be great. I'm all for that. Music Sanctuary. I'm curious where the one in Ontario is because I've Googled it and I can't find one. So I'm curious.
Yeah, Walmart's doing their sale. Like somebody's calling it a yearly sale. I think it's just like Target. They go, I got a bunch of albums we need to get rid of. $15 albums right now, but I swear each one of them looks like they were dragged out of, dropped on the way into the store. Every one has a dent on the corner, ripped, whatever. So even like albums I might be interested in, I just pass on it because they're, rough shape.
Depends how bad the ding is. I don't mind. It's got a small ding, but the record's still fine.
Yeah, there's some that are like pretty major.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is Sunrise and HMV going to coexist here? I don't know. I mean, I think if HMV comes back and makes a go of it, they'll sink Sunrise, I think, because Sunrise does a pretty shitty job. Let's see. Dan says Taylor should do concept albums similar to Alice Cooper's School's Out, including the special insert. I'd like to see her do a rock album, to be quite honest. She could do it.
I think Dan wants Taylor's panties in an album is what he wants. I think that's what he's alluding to there.
Fair enough.
Well, Dan, Taylor doesn't wear panties, so there.
Rob's going to leave the screen now.
Rob falls back in his chair. There he goes.
There he goes.
Yeah. That was a pretty big deal, when Alice Cooper released that album.
Sorry, I just needed a minute.
Was that like the first pressing of that Alice Cooper album, or was that like a later gimmick that came out with the undies?
The original did.
The original did, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a flip open, like a school desk. And then, there were little panties.
Were they granny panties or were they?
No, I don't think
that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Paper like a doily.
Yeah.
Dan wants to know, Jay, do you have?
I answered him in the comments there. I don't know any Thin Lizzy, and I just, for no reason other than just lack of time to start a new artist. But is that where I should be starting, Dan? Is just go for the first three or what?
Yeah, I just got into Thin Lizzy the past year. Jailbreak is love that album, fell in love with it. And then they just put out a live performance right after that Jailbreak album that came out on Record Store Day and just kills. It's a great live album. So I can definitely recommend those two.
All right. I will write that down.
Yeah, Jailbreak, definitely good album.
Did you guys hear the sad news of the passing of Steve Albini today? The famed producer that worked with Nirvana and a hell of a lot of other people died of a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
61 years old.
Ooh, that's not old.
That's not,
No.
No. Closer I get to that number, that's not fun.
I knew some of the people he worked with, but when I Googled it today, holy shit, did he work with a ton of people? Let's see here. Stuff he did with Nirvana was kind of what he was kind of known for, but
so he produced Nevermind, I'm assuming.
I think so. He worked with the Pixies, Bush, the Breeders, PJ Harvey, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and on and on and on and on. Like crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So I saw Vinyl Richie did a kind of a little tribute video, which is kind of worth watching. So
yeah, I just did one I'm kind of doing those 2-album series, whatever. I'm working on XTC right now. I'd never really listened to him. I've just finished halfway through the third album, and it keeps getting better. They kind of sounded like to me like the first album's like reminiscent of early Elvis Costello. Then they get into more sounding like a little bit like the Cars, and then his vocals on the second album remind me of Strummer from The Clash. But then you get into the third album, they're kind of finding their own way. So they're an interesting band. I don't know where they went after the third album, but I just thought that was kind of. You guys have any experience with XTC?
No, that's just another one of those bands.
Right?
Catalog, don't know anything. Where do you start? And,
I keep hearing these band names. When you hear it enough, I'm like, I got to write it down. I got to check these bands out. There's a reason, just like Fleetwood Mac Rumors, people keep bringing these bands up. So I'm hoping to explore these kind of new to me bands, you know.
It's funny. I was thinking of that as many times as I've been, doing my deep dive into Springsteen. There's so many mainstream bands out there that I just haven't got in, not because there's so much music out there.
Yeah.
It's just simply, why haven't I found time to get into that?
Right. Why haven't I taken a minute? Yeah, it's
right.
I grew up seeing Iron Maiden all the time, being in a, high school, and everybody had the long hair in the 80s. It was Iron Maiden and Metallica, and I never listened to any of that. I felt like I should be listening to it, but I never got to it.
I went into a thrift store today. I was driving by and I'm like, I wonder if they have any vinyl. And they did. It was absolute garbage. Like just
the titles or just the condition?
Both. It was like there was nothing modern. It was just like Swiss mountain yodeling and dogs farting in the forest. And
well, I'm glad it's not just in the States that happens,
Horrible shit. But
feel your pain.
They had CDs, and I haven't bought a CD 10 years easily. Format does not interest me. Not that I'm a snob. I'm just like.
Sounds pretty snobbish to me, Rob.
No.
Yeah. Pretty elitist on the CD.
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. I prefer to listen to it on vinyl. If it's not available on vinyl, I'll just download it digitally. And then I've got it on my computer. I can put it in my car or whatever. There's not a spot for the CD for me. But I saw all their CDs, and they were all $2. And I'm like, why have I never listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan before?
Oh, man. Okay.
And I'm just like, shit, well, for $2.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Just another one, like, respect him, because, I play guitar. Not like he plays guitar, mind you, but so I appreciate, his place in the pantheon of guitar players. And I know some of the bigger songs, but just another one of those artists that I just never found time to dive into. And well, now we're doing it. So
it's a way to do that because they're so affordable right now, right?
Yeah, it's a cheap way to kind of check something else besides streaming. I mean, streaming to me is great. But yeah, I didn't have many of his albums until I got into vinyl, and now I think I have just about everything that I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Am I familiar with Gray Delisle? Delisle? I am not. Enlighten me.
Not, yeah.
Dogs farting in the forest would be a must. Yeah, sure. I listen to her blowing her nose. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Maybe, Dogs Farting in the Forest by Billy Joel, and I'd buy it.
Right? Exactly.
That's
Value Village gets away with selling stuff. Town landfill. Yeah.
Value Village finds.
Taylor's would be cats farting in the forest. That's true because she's a cat person. I'm also a cat person. I don't like dogs at all.
I don't think, cats in the forest. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Dogs eating elbow in the Alps. There you go. I was very late to the SRV game. Not my thing overall, though. Okay, cool. I'm very intrigued because I love watching a good guitar player play guitar. And I say watching. I enjoy listening to them too.
Right.
But I get more out of watching them play. So I was watching some stuff on YouTube and that today. So I'm kind of excited to take.
Yeah, he was amazing. And it was just
She's a talent. Oh, this is that Gray Delisle.
Murray Hammond.
Talented vocalist. She's Murray Hammond from the old 97s. I didn't know that. Okay. A big old 97s fan. I'm going to make a note of that. Ugh. I'm going to do the Jason Arsenault and make notes.
That's right. Wednesday night is when I get my homework for the week.
Here we go.
Yeah. Thin Lizzy. I'm kind of John. I think I got to start the XTC trend too. I don't know.
Try those first 3 if you can listen to them in order. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You can hear them kind of come into their own by that 3rd album. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, you got me sold when you said they keep getting better. It's kind of cool whenever you start from the beginning, and it's like cool, neat. And you sort of get them in their rough stage, and then they cut their teeth, and then the 3rd album's usually their peak creativity.
And I think to me that's what's happening with them, because they had, like Elvis Costello, like Pump It Up, where it's really hyper, and I have a hard time with sometimes with a song that's too hyper.
Yeah.
And they have some of that, but they make it work with the melody and all that in the beginning. But then 2nd album, it kind of calms back a little bit. And then by the 3rd album, you can really hear that they've figured out the effects and all these different things they want to do. So I'd be interested to see what you think if you check them out.
Yeah. I think I will. Yeah. It's about time.
It's about time.
Yeah.
You guys know this guy, Anthony Gomes?
No.
Oh, no. Canadian blues rock guitarist.
I want to know more about that. That sounds interesting.
I'm giving myself homework. Jesus.
I'm starting to wonder if there's more that I don't know, not even just heard of. I mean, every day a new name pops up.
Right.
So that's I've got a list this long already, right? So it's doesn't hurt adding to it.
Yeah, it's fun. It lets you try all these new things out. You know.
Yeah. I've added Driftless Girl to my list here. So, Rob gets out his finest crayons to take notes. What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Richard,
that I'm immature like a child? Because that's probably true. But this is a pen, not a crayon.
Take that as a dig.
The pen is mightier than the crayon.
What's your favorite color crayon, Rob? What's your favorite?
I don't have
what tastes the best, Rob?
Yeah, what tastes the best?
Fuck you guys. What the hell?
Punching bag.
God damn. We're moving along here. Stevie Ray Vaughan's Austin City Limits and Live at Montreux shows are here. I started watching Austin City Limits today, and I was pretty thrilled with it.
Well, just the way he played it when you watch him or Hendrix or any of those guys, and they just have such an ease in what they do. And you're like, I could never do that in a million years. It's yeah.
Since we're talking crayons, this is and we were talking Canadian stuff a minute ago. Crayola sucks, but Curtis and Jay will probably remember when we were younger. Remember Laurentian made the best pencil crayons in the world?
Yes.
Shit, Rob, you're absolutely right. That's
right?
A deep cut, but you're right.
Man,
my parents cheaped out for years. Actually, they bought my sister the good ones, and then I had the Crayola. And it sucked. Laurentian was the
Laurentian were fantastic. And in Canada, we call them pencil crayons.
Yes.
Not colored pencils like the Americans do. Which are not the same as crayons. Just saying. Watch my Canadian video, everybody. It's pretty exciting.
Now, with your dive
around here somewhere.
Yeah, with your dive into Springsteen, have you read the book yet? His autobiography yet?
Oh,
no, and I won't either because I'm not a voracious reader.
And I know neither am I, Rob, but I read that, and that book changed everything for me for Bruce. That was absolutely amazing. I didn't know he was that. Like, obviously, he's a smart man, he's talented and all that stuff. But when I read the book, I'm like, Jesus Christ, the guy's a writer. Like, he's like, it was really well done. And then I read Robbie Robertson's book right after.
Yeah, I haven't read a book in years. I don't know.
Start now.
Well, even the audio version's good. It's Bruce reading it. So it's.
Oh, I could maybe do that and put it on.
Yeah.
Cool.
You see, I don't know if you guys use Spotify or not, but they have audiobooks now.
Yeah.
With their membership, which is pretty cool. I was listening to. Well, I found out you only get 17 hours because I listen to them at night usually with the headphones on. I fall asleep. And so I'm listening to a biography of Peter Tosh right now. But I'm on pause until I get my hours back from falling asleep 3 nights in a row.
Speaking of Spotify, you know what else you can get on Spotify? The Vinyl Community Podcast.
There you go.
And I would highly recommend this week's episode from Monday which was about collecting used records and how that's changed, featuring yours truly and Racer Joe. Just saying.
Oh, Racer Joe.
Just saying.
That episode's up on your channel already, yeah?
Yeah. We recorded it like 2-3 weeks ago, and then that's just when it got slotted into the rotation. So,
Nice.
Shameless plug, guys. I'm sorry. Richard, we will diss Crayola because Laurentian is 100 times better than Crayola. Laurentian, HB, Aylmer's, snorting Jiffy markers. That's memories. Yes. Remember those fat markers that the teachers used to use to write on those big flip charts, and they smelled like strawberries and blueberries. You know, they were white and they had the big cap on the end. Remember those?
I thought they smelled like alcohol. They were strong.
They were great.
Yeah.
I don't remember strawberries and blueberries, but vague memory of the markers.
Looking through my albums, look at that.
I have that. Yeah.
Take off. I also have that.
And it's funny because I grew up on this. Me and my dad would steamroll each other in the living room. You know, it was.
You know what's funny, because I don't think maybe I'm wrong. I'm not speaking for the other 35 million people in the country, but I mean, I don't think any of us are really huge Bob and Doug fans, are we? Or am I wrong?
I appreciate them, and I love the fact that they're iconic, but I never was into it. Yeah.
No, neither was I.
I think it was a little. I think I'm a little young for it. I think.
I've
come at it later, and I kind of appreciate it now. But it wasn't something I grew up with.
Right.
Yeah, it was like perfect for me. I don't even know how old I was. It was early '80s, so maybe in that 10 to 12 range, and it was just the right comedy for me. You know.
I like it looking back. I gotta say.
Yeah. It's fun. It's funny.
But come on, you go into the water and they're surviving off the beer bottles. You know. You know, he drinks all the beer in the vat. I mean, it's perfect. Great movie.
I think, you know, it's funny because that's what Americans think of us as the stereotype, but I don't think that's what we think of the stereotype of ourselves.
Yeah. And I didn't, as a kid and really growing up, I didn't even recognize it as Canadian. I just thought it was a comedy. Right. I didn't even until later. And then I found out about SCTV, right? That whole thing. So as a kid, I just thought it was a fun comedy. So it didn't make an impression as, you know, oh, this is what Canadians are like to me, because I had no idea.
You've seen Strange Brew, I assume. Have you seen Strange Brew, John?
JWG coming in with the Red Green Show.
Yeah.
Curtis, you must remember the Red Green Show.
Oh yes.
Oh, now that's Canadian.
See, to me, that's
find you handsome. I was handy
to see that.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Yeah, duct tape. That fixes everything. Yeah.
So the Red Green Show, John, was a show. There was a comedian. His name was Steve Smith, and he played this kind of raspy voice, like Hunter Fisher guy with a plaid shirt and a bushy beard, and he ran Possum Lodge, and it was him and his nephew, and it was like a members only. It was a TV show.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a members only lodge, and it was just
another sketch comedy show, but
a sketch comedy thing, and it was
Canadian.
Yes,
there he is. Yeah,
there he is. There, hilarious, fantastic show, and he did everything with duct tape.
Oh, damn!
It looks good.
Oh, it was awesome. I have a story about Red Green. So, about 9 or 10 years ago, maybe, we were doing a trade show, and I'm in the commercial woodworking industry. I'm a supplier to that industry. And at the time, the company that I was working with, I was in charge of our trade show stuff because I was the marketing manager. And the boss wanted to have something to draw people in. And he goes, what if we paid to have Red Green in our booth, right? He's the handyman, right? And we're at a woodworking show, right? That might be cool. So I reached out to Red Green's people. And they got back to me. And they quoted me a price. Take a wild guess what it would cost to have Red Green. Bear in mind, 10 years ago. Take a guess what it would cost to have Red Green for an hour.
Is this an 80s show? Is it 80s?
No, this is like 90s.
90s? 90s, shows off the air. Well, it's going to be something crazy, right?
What do you think, Jay?
You told us before, Rob. I don't remember what the hell.
I couldn't even ballpark it. I have no idea.
Say like $10,000.
Like
$25,000.
Wow.
And his show hadn't been on the air for like over a decade.
He just didn't want to do it.
Is he still obviously remaining popular? Like you can get mugs and, like Bob and Doug, you can get characters and all that.
Everybody knows who he is.
Okay.
And I'm sure he's probably on a reruns maybe, but
look at these
well
questions.
past being relevant. All right, where are we here?
Okay, look at this. Okay, first off, Dan, with Cousin Harold's reference is pretty deep. That's pretty awesome. Because he was such a weirdo. It was so hard to watch.
Oh, he was great.
He was
very cringe.
He was very cringe.
Which one's Cousin Harold?
I'm gonna see if I can.
Is that one of those guys? Is that Cousin Harold? Who's that guy?
That's him. Yeah,
Cousin Harold.
Yeah,
like a pedophile. It was weird.
He does look a little sketchy. Yeah.
So he was like the computer nerd. He had the glasses on and the suspenders and the pants hiked up, and he was the producer of the TV show. And he had they had a keytar back in the 80s that people played keyboard on. Well, he had basically something like that, but it was instead of piano keys, it was like keyboard keys from like a Commodore 64, and he would control the TV show from this. And he was just like this nerdy nephew of Red Green. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I got to see if I can find it. I definitely want to check it out.
This is a deep cut. Wasn't Alanis Morissette in some Canadian show back in the day? Yes, you can't do that on television.
Curtis, nice job.
There's the keyboard.
Yep, there it is.
I don't know.
Let me make that big so everyone can see that. Hold on.
Oh my
there you go.
Oh, you just wanted
There's Cousin Harold.
Here. Yeah, that look on his face is not good. I'm probably going to have a nightmare about that one tonight.
Just, John, if you like Strange Brew and Bob and Doug, you'll love Red Green.
Okay.
They're better, truthfully, I think.
I have to check it out.
Funny as hell. Filmed in Hamilton. I remember driving down Upper James Street in Hamilton one day, and I pulled into a gas station, and the Possum van was there getting gas. Remember the Possum van, Jay?
That part of it? Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Yeah.
They had a van, like an old 80s van. Then they had a giant possum painted on the side, and not a good. See if I can find an image over here. Hold on.
Yeah, James Wilson. Yeah, I watched. You Can't Do That on Television. I think was that the one that was on.
There you go. That's the possum van right there.
Make yourself big so I can see what the hell is that. A face in the front? What the hell is that? That's me.
Oh, hold on. Oh, that's you.
Oh, okay. So it's his smile is like in an bumper. All right.
That was what they drove on the show, and I saw it at the gas station one day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, fun times. Yes, you can't do that on television, and that was a crazy show. Right?
It was like a kid show.
Yeah,
because there was another one that was like on Showtime or something, News TV or something that was. I can't remember, but I watched You Can't Do That on Television. I think it was on Nickelodeon.
Could have been. Yeah, I think with that show, and I don't remember what it was, but you did something and you get a bucket of slime poured on your head.
That's kind of where the slime started, the whole Nickelodeon slime thing, yeah.
I watched a bit of a documentary on that recently, and they had some really, really good musical guests on that show. I don't remember it from the time.
I don't either.
But when I went back, they had like legit great musical acts on it. I can't think of any examples right now.
I don't remember any musical acts on there. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Wasn't Alanis Morissette an actor on that show?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I have to look into that one again.
Thanks for the tip on Anthony Gomes. Just listen to The Whiskey Made Me Do It. I know that song.
Sounds like a
surprisingly never heard of him. The man rocks. Cool. No, it wasn't Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It was Smith and Smith Comedy Mill, which was Steve Smith and his wife. And then they got divorced, and he went off and did Red Green. What do I think of the album by Mike Bloomfield, Al Copper, Steve Stills called Super Sessions, a song?
I have that.
I don't have it. I have heard it once upon a time.
I love that.
You have it?
I think my dad had it because I've heard it back in the day, but I haven't heard it forever.
Yeah, I'm mixed. It's one of those albums that I keep going. Should I keep it in my collection or not?
Let me grab my
send it to me. I'll own like 800 copies of that one. That's such a great story album. And I'm a massive Bloomfield fan. Yeah. Basically one side of the album, Bloomfield's guitar, and then he pretty much, either gets drunk or high or whatever. He becomes incapacitated and can't finish the album. So the next day they bring in Stephen Stills to be the guitar player on the second half of the album.
Yeah.
But phenomenal. I'm a huge Bloomfield fan, so whatever he does, I'm all in on. But
yeah, I think it's one I need to play again. I got it because I'm at the record store, and of course they're like, "Oh, you got to have this album." And I picked it up, and I wasn't really into it, but I could tell it was good, but I couldn't get into it.
I don't think it's their best work per se. I just think it's kind of a cool, That's awesome.
Yeah. There you go.
No.
What the heck is this?
That's a Canadian hamster.
She's not Canadian.
Yeah, she is.
No, she's not.
There you go. So now you have your hamster visit. Of course, my kid has to come in and bother me. Yep. There it is. There you go, folks. This is what we do in America for good times.
Wholesome.
If this thing craps on my head, it's done.
That would be a great video if that happened.
Just right down the front of your hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
There she is. Looks like dinner to me, folks.
Do not.
Ooh.
It's just a baby.
Okay.
Stop spinning. You're confusing her.
All right,
she's
take
not smart. Stop spinning.
Yeah, there's no brain matter in there. The brain is actually right here in this little tail. That's about it. Yeah,
it's rude.
But yeah, the Bloomfield, I got to give it another listen. I keep going. Is that one of the ones that I need to pull out to thin my records? But then I'm like, maybe I should keep it.
There's a live album that came out after. It's the one with the Norman Rockwell kind of painting on the cover of the two of those guys, of Al Cooper and Mike Bloomfield, and they kind of pretty much play what that album is and a little bit extra. But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Yes, Stephen Stills kind of has a mixed solo career.
It's kind of different kind of guy. Eh?
Yeah, not great albums, but some good songs like "Love the One You're With" would pop up. So it's one of those guys you root for, but it's like, give me something a little more meat and potatoes here.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
James is saying Max Webster was on You Can't Do That on Television. Interesting.
Who's Max Webster? Who is?
Oh, Jesus.
I probably know him if I see him, kind of thing.
He's not a guy; it's a band, just like Jethro Tull.
Oh, so I have no idea then. Okay.
They were a band, and their guitar player Kim Mitchell would go on and have a solo career and be a famous radio host and whatever. Big Canadian band that, in the vein of the Canadian discussion that we had the other week on my channel, it's a band that Americans probably won't have heard of, but they were pretty phenomenal back in the 80s.
That kind of looks like Larry Graves right there. I think that's the Canadian Stud Muffin.
Hey, it must be.
That might be him right over there. We're going to have to do a deep dive on that one.
Did you guys see, speaking of Larry Graves, I don't know how he did it. He landed an interview today with Paul McCartney's lead guitar player.
Yeah, he's been talking about that. He finally did it. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
How the hell did he do that?
He got a hold of somebody like from the Guess Who at some point also. I don't know how Rachel gets a hold of somebody knows somebody kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Larry's still trying to get Sean Lennon. He thinks he's really going to get an interview with that one.
That's not good.
He's talked to him on Instagram, so we'll see.
Well, someone liking your comment on Instagram is not quite the same as talking to them, but
so we'll see.
I mean, that'd be cool if it happens.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Dave Grohl to pop up here.
You know what? He probably would. He probably would. He does anything. Anyone here? Harvey Mandel, phenomenal guitarist.
I know Howie.
Is he Howie Mandel's brother, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Who is another Canadian, by the way.
Yep. I loved Howie in the 80s. Oh, he couldn't. Silly as he was with the glove on the head and Bobby and all that stuff.
Oh, Bobby, I forgot about that.
I didn't like the series when that came out, but I liked the stand-up part. It was good.
Let's see here. Come
on,
Jason. Met Brian Ray before McCartney concert. That's cool. Good for him. That's all. Hats off to Larry for That's a song by Del Shannon. Hats off to Larry. Good for Larry for doing that interview. I'll certainly watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody got any albums nearby? We got to show an album every once in a while.
I went to Vancouver, so I got to actually go to record stores.
Did you? Nice.
I was very disciplined about it, but I picked up a couple. I finally got a copy of the debut.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's not an original, but it's an early '66, a Canadian early Canadian pressing of it. Really fantastic shape too.
Back it up, yeah. That's a great. Love that album.
I went down there looking for the debut Paul Butterfield, and someday I'll get that too. But this was like the sister album in a sense, right? Those two.
I have an OG Canadian first press of that. That was my dad's that he bought when it came out.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And it's like looks flawless.
Yeah, there was something about that album, that sound. I love that album.
The other one I got was this is a reissue on Elemental music, but Boogie with Canned Heat. I needed a copy of that. I love On the Road. On the Road Again is so cool with the twangy sort of sitar, Middle Eastern sort of vibe to it. But yeah, Canned Heat. I'm just a big fan of them because they were such a big proponent of blues music and worked with John Lee Hooker and all that kind of stuff. So Canned Heat was a must-have at some point. And I wanted an original, but I think that's going to be pretty special. So, and then finally, Canadian content. I picked up Coulter Wall album just because it was sitting there.
Shocking.
And, yeah, I'm going to own them all at some point.
I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him.
Kind of outlaw country, almost like Tyler Childers sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have to check him out.
Like Johnny Cash if he smoked 18 packs of smokes a day.
Yeah.
was the analogy that was used in our other video.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. When did I just? No, go ahead, bro.
What stores? Dan's asking what stores you had up there.
Dan, I tried to behave myself. I went to Zulu and I went to Neptune. Those were my two favorites there. I love Zulu in Kitsilano. And then, Neptune was overwhelming. Neptune had so much more stuff in a tighter space, and the store was packed at the time. So,
did you fly or drive?
I flew down. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's either a 16-hour trek through the mountains, or
16 if I'm lucky. Yeah.
Jeez. Larry also interviewed Arthur Brown. I was on that live stream when Arthur Brown joined us. There was me and Glenn, and I forget who else was on that. Let's see. James saying those early sessions, Paul Butterfield Blues Band album is worth getting. Yes, it is. It's very nice.
I got to give that a better shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that one up, James. I think that was I don't know if it was a record store day release or something like that, but I think it's a 3 LP set. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Make you small again.
You went by go-kart. That's awesome. You travel around in your go-kart up there.
I have this vision of Jason bombing down the Trans-Canada looking for like Super Mario power-ups or something.
It took me 2 weeks to get to that store. Loaded up my albums in my milk crate on the back, and we're good to go.
Dan is saying that some great stores I never go to anymore. Port Coquitlam and Surrey are my go-to stores.
That Poco store, I think we talked about it before, Dan. I forget the name of it. The store in Poco was awesome.
You should have got together with Dan when you were in town.
I was pretty rushed. I went down for the Pearl Jam concert. I was just, I had a phenomenal time.
How was the Pearl Jam concert?
It was great. It was extra special for sure.
When did you go to that? That was recent, right?
Yeah, Saturday night was the show. They did 2 shows, Saturday and Monday. I went to the first one on Saturday, so that was like the first show of the whole tour. They actually fucked up and messed up a song. It was pretty awesome. Like everyone, the whole crowd was cheering and laughing when they messed up, and shaking the cobwebs off. And so I wouldn't trade that trip for anything. That was one of the best weekends. One of the best weekends I've ever had.
Wow, fantastic! Did they have an open air?
They did a band called Deep Sea Diver, and I wasn't. I was kind of I was there for Pearl Jam. I should have paid more attention, but I was kind of. I guess I was a little distracted. I guess.
Apparently, they played Bob Cajun.
Yeah, man, that was
phenomenal.
Really. I was.
Cool.
the guy beside me. I was like, oh, what is this? This sounds familiar. He was saying a couple of the lyrics. And so at the end of the song Daughter, which is like a classic Pearl Jam track from like 93, at the end of that, they always do a tag with another song. And it could be anything, right? They've done Another Brick in the Wall. They've done lots of different things. And so he did a few lines from Bob Cajun, and you could see when the crowd just all of a sudden realized what the hell he was doing, like a Gord Downie thing, right? Like, so the place just went nuts. It was pretty special. Wow. Eddie came out for the first encore by himself. He did a Tom Petty cover, Won't Back Down. That was pretty phenomenal too. And yeah, it was fantastic. No, not this one. No, I was wondering if he'd bring that out, but he didn't. But yeah, it was great.
Very cool. I like Dark Matter a lot. It's been a while since I've liked the Pearl Jam album. But it was so
nonstop.
Yeah, but it's so compressed. It's bothering me a little bit, like the way it's.
I got the album in the mail like the day I left, which was like for the show. So I had streamed it. So I had it in my head on the stream, and it was. You're right. It's better to stream than it is to listen to. But I had to own it anyway. I would never not own an album. So. Yeah,
and I mean I like the music. It just does something to my ear. But I got a really cool. Did you see the Record Store Day vinyl that they released?
Yeah, there's been a few variations. I think I got the red one, which I think is my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to get mine because it's kind of cool looking. I really liked it. I don't really care about variants, but this one was kind of cool.
Yeah, I ended up getting the Fan Club one. Hence why it took so bloody long to get to me. But yeah, it was pretty great.
I always find that weird. You think the fan clubs would be like the first to get it?
I know. Like you said that shit out before the release date.
Yeah.
I used to get stuff when I used to pre-order. Again, not that anyone gives a shit. I used to order Blue Radio stuff all the time when I was a member of the fan club, and I would get it a week, 2 weeks ahead of time.
That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be. If you pre-order something, it should be in your mailbox on or around release date, not shipping on release date. Because otherwise, what's the incentive to pre-order? Oh, that's cool looking.
Yeah,
isn't that kind of cool?
Wow. That's neat.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm digging it.
That's wild.
That's really cool.
I haven't seen vinyl like that. And I've never gotten excited really about a variant, but I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I've seen a few people on Instagram post that I didn't see it that detail though. That is pretty special.
It looks nice at that label too. Like that's really
that's the other thing. Let me put this back, but it came with these stickers. I call them stickers because that's what they are.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, eh? Like it was like a sheet of stickers.
Did you get a sheet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that go? So you can literally change the middle of it.
The merch table at the concert was pretty wild. I had a hard time.
That's pretty cool.
Hard time containing myself at the merch table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have the patch with the PJ on it?
They had so much stuff there. Yeah. I don't know. I got a couple T-shirts, but it was tough to make my way through that process.
Yeah, it's like
actually the poster for the first Vancouver show. I don't think a lot of bands make their own poster or have posters for each show, right? And I'm sure they're not alone to do this. I know Pearl Jam was pretty early in the idea of promoting local artists, and so every show has an artist that does the poster, and then they'll do a post, they'll show the poster, they'll explain who the artist is and all that. But the first night, the poster was just phenomenal. I should have got it, but whatever. I don't know where to put it right now. But it was like a big orca whale, like very Vancouver-esque kind of thing. But
right. What a way to get you to right. Because like that's when I went to Billy Joel, they had, they were at Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play. And of course they put a big pirate ship on there and they put, Billy Joel and Sting. I'm like, well, I have to buy that, I think I spent just as much on merch as I did as probably one concert ticket by the time we were done. It was four of us. And we all bought T-shirts and we're all excited. My girls first, they were in it. Like they just totally absorbed the whole concert, It was amazing. And they're like, oh, I want a T-shirt. I want that. I'm just like, of course my kid's going to wear a Billy Joel T-shirt. Fuck yeah, kind of thing. So yeah, but that merch is it's not cheap. Those shirts are what, 35, 40, 45 bucks a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I had to stop buying concert T-shirts because I had so many of them.
Yeah.
Like I don't need any more black T-shirts that have a whole bunch of dates on them. Like, 40.
You were at that one date, man. You were at that date,
Yeah.
I was. So
Yeah.
now I'm. If I don't have the vinyl, if they have vinyl there that I don't have, I buy it. Or thing I'm a sucker for now is tour posters, but it's got to be autographed, or else
Yeah, I regret not. We went to see Elvis Costello. Let's just say my wife is not a fan of the concert at all. So they had a signed album by Elvis that you could buy, and it was only like $50 maybe. And I was like,
I'm
gonna get it after the show. And I could tell she was just so over the concert. I just didn't even want her to wait around anymore. I didn't want to put her through that. But I kind of regret not getting that signed album. It kind of been cool. Yeah.
Rob, did Alan Doyle sign that one for you?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
He's
great, man. I love Alan Doyle.
There it is, right here.
Very cool.
I see them every time. I mean, he puts on just an incredible show. I mean, he makes I said this in our Canadian chat last week or whatever. He makes a 2,000 seat arena feel like a kitchen party. Incredible. I go see them every time because his fiddle player Kendall's a good friend of mine. So I've known her when she was playing in like bar bands and stuff. So I go see them every time they're in town. I liked Alan when he was in Great Big Sea, and so I see them every time, and I've met him probably a dozen times at this point. So yeah, puts on a hell of a good show.
Yeah, that's cool. Did he sign it personally, or you bought it already signed, like at the merch table?
It was already pre-signed, but I did get to see him, so
that's cool.
Yeah,
we got Sam in the comments there, Rob. See if you can send them a link.
Sam, I sent you the link, so it's in your email. I can resend it to you if you want to join us, man. Please.
Yeah, get up here. I haven't been up with Sam in a long time.
I want to hear it.
Do you guys have
Twigs concert? I don't know anything about the Lemon Twigs, but I saw like pictures and videos of it, and the venue that he was in was so cool. Like very low ceiling, like intimate crowd, just like 100 people. Like to see one of your favorite acts in that element, like that's super cool. Yeah,
it reminds me of Ruth Eckerd Hall, the venue we have here, and I love going to see concerts there because it's small. So it feels more intimate. And I wonder, do you guys have any venues near you kind of small like that where you can, like Ruth Eckerd Hall, we can go around the back and sometimes you can get the autograph, meet the artist, depending on how it goes. Obviously big stadiums and things, forget about it, trying to do that. But do you guys have those venues?
Yeah, I go to a lot of theater shows. We don't have a lot of I can drive to Toronto for the stadium shows because we have we have the Rogers Center where the Jays play, and that's for like Taylor Swift size concerts. And then there's the Scotiabank Arena where the Leafs play. And I've seen like U2 there and, that kind of thing. But I don't go to a lot of those shows. I go to a lot of the theater shows where it's, like a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 seat theaters. And those are great because, usually often do meets and greets, or you can just go around the back and stand by the bus and they're probably going to come out and you say hi or whatever. So.
Yeah, Curtis, Curtis, do you want to see a show? Is there something in Sydney, or do you have to go to Halifax, or like what's the
anyone to any size, any popularity is basically got to go to Halifax. But I mean, you'll get a lot of local acts.
I bet. Probably some wicked music.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of music on the East Coast, right? So we get a lot of local music. But anyone. Like when Adam Doyle came through, he was playing in Halifax, right?
The Metro Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you go see him on this tour?
No, I didn't. I'm really hoping that
because you know who the opener is.
I do. It's Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin. So I had to go because I've seen Adam open for him twice.
Okay,
it was awesome, just awesome.
No, I really thought really hard about it. It was it was St. Patrick's Day actually. Nice. So I'm like Halifax jumping.
What a mess.
Adam's got a couple gigs coming up on his own in Dartmouth in I think June or something. So
yeah, he's got one here in August.
Okay.
Actually, the Trews are playing the night before.
The Trews.
So it's like an outdoor festival kind of thing.
When I saw Adam, when did I see him now? Like a month and a half ago. He played some new stuff.
Oh,
So maybe there's a new album in the works, I hope.
hey, there we go. Nice.
Very much in the vein of concertos and serenades, which I just dig so much. So
I love that album.
Me
I
too.
was so when I went to Halifax recently. There's you'll recognize that one, Jason, Daz from Halifax. I went through the local stuff. I was pretty close to getting some Matt Mays, but I skipped over it. But it was pretty. Yeah, I was very tempted.
We should have, because Matt's friggin' awesome.
No, I know.
Matt shared some pretty sad news. Matt lives in Ancaster, Ontario, which is outside of Hamilton, so it's like 45 minutes for me. He has a farm, and he does concerts in his barn all summer. And whether it's him or whether it's somebody else, you pay like $80 and you can go hang out in his barn and watch a show. And like there was one that I missed. I kicked myself because it was him and Greg Keeler from Blue Rodeo playing in Matt's barn. I said, I am going to one of Matt's barn shows this summer. They just announced that Matt's partner, Christine, who's a chef, she's been diagnosed with a pretty aggressive brain tumor. So they started a GoFundMe for some pretty life-saving surgery. So it doesn't look like Matt's going to be playing any music anytime soon because he's looking after his partner, and rightfully so. So
right.
Which is horrible news, but I was really looking forward to getting one of his barn shows. But
that'd be kind of cool. It's like what Levon Helm did.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Right. That's right, John. Yeah.
That's
Was there
exactly.
a documentary on that? Like, how do I know that? There must have been some kind of coverage of a Levon Helm doing that. Maybe it was like a 60 Minutes news story or something.
Yeah.
Like it was in his final days, right? Yeah.
There's a documentary if you watch that on him, and it was
Midnight Rambles.
Yeah, they talked about it.
There's a couple Midnight Ramble albums too. Very hard to find, but they're out there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I guess Sam's not going to join us. I put the link up there, but
he's teasing us from the Peanut Gallery.
I guess. The bar scene in Halifax is great for live bands. I imagine it would be. I've only been to Halifax once. I flew in at like 8 o'clock in the morning, spent the day there for work, and I flew home at 8 o'clock at night, and I have not been back yet. But one of these days.
Yeah. Split Crow, Lower Desert. Okay.
Those are all music venues. I know the names of all of those.
I'm looking at Ruth Eckerd, and it's 2,100 seats, basically 2,200 seats.
That's a good size venue.
Even if you sit in the back, it's like you can, it's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Here's the record I picked up on that trip. Anyone into?
They make you big.
Anyone into Latin stuff? Latin Soul. It's a compilation. Ray Barato.
Okay.
I absolutely love this. Tico's late 60s kind of stuff, early 60s, New York, heavily influenced by Afro-Cuban kind of stuff. Fantastic. It's probably my favorite one I picked up recently.
Does it fall into the sort of jazz area, or does it stay more like Latin flair?
It's more soul, actually.
Soul. Okay.
With a very Latin flavor. So it's kind of like the end of the big band, not the end, but it's kind of like influenced by big band Latin jazz, but taking on that Puerto Rican kind of flavor, just before salsa took over. Timeline wise.
Hold it up again so I want to check that. I love checking out new stuff. So what was the artist's name?
So it's actually a compilation.
Okay.
So the label's called Tico. There was kind of two really big labels for this type of music. There's Tico and Fania.
Okay.
This
the Latin soul of Tico. Okay.
I got it written down.
Yeah, let me think. Let's recommend one. Let's see. So the guy on the cover here is Ray Barato. He's got a few tracks on here. Let me just put it up. There you go. The opener, El Watusi, is a fun one. Let's see. I really like this one. This is where's that? This last one he's got here. This is a little bit. It's almost like a little bit like surfer rock, Latin surfer rock kind of feel.
Okay, yeah, and you have Celia Cruz on there with Tito Puente.
So. Yeah, Tito Puente makes a few appearances on here. Joe Cuba, Eddie Palmero, I think, is on here. Palmieri, sorry.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this one we'd all know from Santana's version.
Oye, como va?
Como va?
Yep.
So this is the Tino Puente's original version.
All right, yeah, I've heard that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Bring up some new stuff. Yeah. I was just going to ask you, Curtis, like, what do you, since we've just met, like, what are you into? Like, do you have a go-to artist, or are you all over the place like us? Like,
Curtis is the reggae expert.
Reggae?
Yeah, not an expert, but I have been really going down the reggae trail lately. I've been really, I guess, actively seeking out, you know what I mean? So getting more in depth with my reggae stuff. So
yeah, I just picked Record Store Day, had this, and I liked it.
Oh, nice. Horace Andy, right?
I had never heard of him before, but I'm really...
That's one of his newer ones. It's like...
I'm assuming, yeah, it's like 2000 somewhere.
Yeah, great vocalists.
Actually, 2024. Yeah, really good reggae. And I saw this. I'm like, I need to expand my reggae out a little bit. All I have is, of course, Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. So
yeah.
That's my third artist.
I haven't heard that album, actually.
Very good. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I saw it on the Record Store Day list.
Yeah, it's one that I took a chance on. I don't try to take too many chances during Record Store Day, but I'm glad I did because it turned out really good.
I struck out on Record Store Day. There was nothing in my local shop. I even gave them my list of what I wanted, and I didn't get any of it. So
yeah,
I didn't do Record Store Day.
I took my daughter, so that was kind of cool. That was her first Record Store Day.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, trying to get my kids in there. She comes in every once in a while and helps me film when I'm in the store, but yeah, they're just not into the physical format kind of thing.
If you like the vocal stuff, Marcia Griffith, this is another one I just picked up.
Okay.
Guy in Halifax, he had a bunch of, on Marketplace, he had a bunch of Jamaican pressings, which aren't the best quality, but I don't know.
But it's cool to have them, though.
That's, Marcia Griffith was one of the background singers with the Wailers.
Okay, that's where I thought I knew that name. Okay.
Beautiful album, great. Like I say, if you like that vocal harmony, kind of real soulful, that's a great album. Yeah,
I'll check that one out too. Of course, my list keeps getting bigger and bigger. Can't see it, but it's getting ridiculous. How many bands I'm going to check out here?
Richard says, so hard to take chances on unknown albums, which I generally don't do. I was thinking, John, when you were showing that, why take the gamble on it? What made you say I got to get this?
Sometimes it's impulse. Sometimes it's just a gut feeling. I saw that and I'm like, I don't have much reggae. I'm like, let's just go for it. For the most part, like Record Store Day, I'm kind of, I'm an in crowd kind of thing. I'm there. So I can get pretty much just about what I want. So I'm very careful about what I pick. If it's an exclusive, supposedly only Record Store Day, that's the ones I kind of aim for because it looks like the other ones will be released later. So for the most part, I don't take chances, but there's a couple. There's a Psych one that I got that I liked and I took a chance on in that one. So, but I don't take too many chances because it's pricey. Yeah. Each one of those albums are 30 and up.
I don't have any of Lee Scratch Perry stuff. I have the stuff he did with Bob Marley, the Soul Revolutions and Soul Rebels stuff, which is fantastic. And I really need to actually, when I was looking through this stuff in Halifax, he had a Lee Perry one, and I really wanted it, but my money was gone. So it was one of the ones I picked up. So I like Lee Perry. He's got great stuff, and I need it in my collection. What's the one? Super Ape. I need that. I have a compilation on CD actually, so I do have some Lee Perry.
Yeah. Did any of you make sort of that New Year's resolution going into the new year about what you're going to do with your vinyl and your purchasing and any of that?
Man, I threw that resolution out on January 2nd.
Right? Because I did similar, okay, I'm going to get to know my collection, right? Because I know there's albums in here that I have and I couldn't even tell you a song off of them. So I'm like, I'm going to get to know that collection, but I have a wish list. Now, if I'm in a record store and I find anything on that wish list, so of course the second week in January, I go to a record store and all of a sudden 20 albums I've never seen before that are on my wish list just show up, so now I'm still not. So I was just interested to know, we're about halfway through the year, if anybody made that resolution and it's just dead in the water.
I did make a resolution and I kept it.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I have bought tons of stuff on eBay and Discogs over the years. And I said to myself, maybe let's pump the brakes on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because the stuff that I would be buying online was more stuff that I wanted to collect rather than listen to. And prime example, and I put this on hold for a while, is I'm still trying to get all my Beatles UK first pressings because they sound good. But those, to me, that's the genuine artifact. What we had in North America was kind of a bastardized whatever, right? So I need 3 more. But I said to myself, it's going to be nice to have those eventually. Do I really need them right now? No. I have like 7 White albums. If I don't have an original UK, I'm probably okay. That's just an example.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to stop buying the eBay and Discogs stuff for now, because I'll find something on eBay. I'm like, yeah, I want to buy that. And then I go, okay, so it's $50 for the record, right? And it's another $30 for shipping. And then it can just, a record would end up costing a fortune. So I'm like, you know what? For what I would pay for one record, I can go to the antique mall or a used record store. And I mean, I think I'm 10 albums into Springsteen's discography, with the exception of one of them, Nebraska, which I bought new. All the rest have been used, and I don't think all 8 or 10 of those combined would cost more than I would buy for something off eBay. So I'm going, let's put that stuff on hold and concentrate on some new stuff, or filling some holes in the collection of stuff that's going to get listened to. And surprisingly, I've ordered 1 or 2 things online, like from an artist store. But other than that, I've done pretty good at just kind of concentrating on that used stuff locally and not doing the online purchases. So
I've kind of had a similar vibe with artists like Pearl Jam being the number one, like, example of it. Like, artists that I know I'm going to be a completist of, I'm not in a panic to buy it. It's like someday I will have it all. And then, obviously I'll put stuff on my want list for Discogs, but like the ones that I just know that I'll get there. I'll get them eventually. I'm not in a rush to get them. Like that Coulter Wall, I'm going to own every Coulter Wall album at some point. They're not expensive. They're readily available, but I got to, watch my wallet a little bit, and I'll just take my time and gather the things over time and save my money for like the cool stuff that just all of a sudden comes out and interesting.
Right. We kind of go through those phases, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna complete this artist or whatever, but then you get into that mode of, well, I want to try all this new stuff, like you're talking.
I know, it's so hard.
Back and forth, back. Yes,
I did pretty good holding off in April, waiting for Record Store Day, because there's a few things that I thought I'd get. So I did pretty good waiting until Record Store Day not to buy anything. And then when I struck it at Record Store Day, then I was like, okay, well, I can treat myself now.
Yeah, I'm in the store. Let's go. Yeah.
all right, what are we saying here? The best RSD 2024 soul jazz funk album, Travis Pig, soul or funk. I can't comment on that, but Curtis probably can.
Don't know it, but sounds really cool. I just Googled it.
Yeah, both Curtis and I wrote that one down. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. There were so many. You kind of missed some of them.
Yeah,
Travis
Richard.
Biggs.
Good point, Richard. What's your guys' advice for someone who starting right now? Like, I'm pretty new to it myself. I'm a COVID collector, right? But like, what is your best piece of advice for that person that's like just buys a turntable tomorrow? What do you say to them?
Take your time. Don't get excited, because I remember when I first got back in the vinyl, I'm probably 6-7 years in again. I got excited, just grabbed everything, forgot, oh, there could be shitty vinyl out there. Take your time. If the record store has a listening station, go over there and listen to it. Take your time and enjoy it. Don't just start grabbing all these albums, because you're going to end up with a lot of disappointment, and it might lead you out of the hobby by going, all these albums are crap. But part of the fun is finding that album that sounds good, and you took your time to find it. So that would be my advice, just to slow down and ease yourself into it.
Yeah.
I think I'd have a similar tip. And I would tell a new person, don't be too hung up on going out and buying new vinyl, because it's crazy expensive.
Right.
If you're just, these people are fantastic. The kids that want to buy all the Taylor Swift records or the Olivia Rodrigo records, or knock stuff out, that's cool. But if you're someone that's looking to seriously, I want to build a collection so that I have stuff to listen to beyond just the artist I'm obsessed about, I would say to them, go find the used stuff, because to my point a minute ago, buy a hell of a lot more used records than you will new ones. And there's also a little bit, I find, and you guys probably agree, there's a little more fun in the hunt rather than just knowing that you can go to the store and pick up that new vinyl. If you digging for used records, there's a little more, thrill of the chase, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something about having that, even if you find it sealed sometimes, something from the 80s, 70s, whatever, and it's like, ooh, how long has this thing survived? I mean, this piece of cardboard,
Yep.
And you pick it up and you're like, this is kind of cool. So that's it goes into just take your time with it, enjoy the hobby. There's so many artist selections out there to choose from. Just, be patient with it,
And the other thing, enjoy the music, because that often gets overlooked. I mean, I've seen people that collect records that don't even have record players.
Yeah, I've heard
of it. What are you doing? They're not baseball cards, for Christ's sakes. There's open the damn things and listen to them.
I guess, we're music lovers. That's why we do this. But I guess to some people, it's just the same thing as collecting a Pokemon card. Oh, look, I have this Willie.
Yeah,
it's funny. Oh, no, I have this Neil Young. Yeah, cool.
When I was down at in Neptune Records there, I was walking around trying not to buy tons of shit. And someone from the store, like a staff member, was walking this guy around the store. And, I don't know what his deal was or what he was doing, but I could have sworn that from what I could hear and pick up, I think he was just collecting records that were colored vinyl. Nothing to do with the music or the artist. He just wanted to have, obviously he's got loads of money, because why the hell, I don't know. Or I don't know what his deal was, but like a person that's collecting not for music, like whatever, sure. But come on. And he's just being like, carted around the store. Well, this one's on pink wax. Well, this one here is on orange splatter wax. And he would have this little armload of records. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Colored vinyl is interesting. Like half the time I forget what I have. Now I have a spreadsheet that I keep all my albums. And if it has something different with the vinyl color, I note it. But it's kind of cool when you pull one out and you forget it was kind of like a different vinyl. It's kind of neat when you pull it out for the first time, but really, how often do you see the colored vinyl? It's tucked away.
I think I'd caution against FOMO, right? It's going to come again. There's no.
Yeah, I think it bites everybody.
Yeah,
you better grab it now. Grab it. Everybody's going to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come around. It'll be reissued, that kind of thing. I've been a victim myself of FOMO, so I would say, just don't get caught up in the FOMO. Yeah. And my other advice would be, don't be scared to take a chance on an album you're not familiar with, right? Especially if you're buying used.
Up,
go for it.
Yeah. It's easier to do it on a $5-6 record,
right?
And then you have this conflict. It's like, okay, I'm gonna buy this new album, so it should really sound good, but we know how that works, right? Instead of buying a used album. So
if someone likes music and they're deciding to take that venture into vinyl, my advice would be understand the space factor, like the actual real estate it takes, because I said I'm going to get into this. I'm just going to collect the vinyl for the albums that I already know I love. Well, that was a freaking ignorant idiot that said that. Like,
yeah, that's all of us.
I have a problem now. They're on the floor and they're everywhere. But like just understand that you're going to build a collection much bigger than you think you are.
Yeah.
Stream the music first, Ivan says. That's right. Use streaming to your advantage. Like, if you really think you love that album, just double check before you spend, especially if you're going to spend money on a new one that's $40-$50.
Yeah.
I wanted to circle back to Curtis's comment about FOMO. There has been some albums that I kicked myself that I didn't buy when they came out. So one of the first, I mean, I've been doing YouTube now 2.5 years, which is crazy to think, but within the first 6 months, I think I did a video about 10 records that I wished I owned, but I didn't think I would eventually, I would ever get to find. And I watched that video back the other day, and 2 years later, I now own 9 of the 10 because like 7 of them have been repressed, and I didn't really care whether it was a repress or an original. I just wanted that album to listen to on vinyl. Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club, prime example.
Right.
For the longest time, there was only the Record Store Day one from 7 or 8 years ago. I know, John, you've got one, don't you?
I have it.
Yeah. And it's like $300. I'm like, God damn it. I don't want to pay $300, but I want that album on vinyl. Been reissued. I bought the reissue, perfectly happy. And that's happened on a few instances. And then I think there's 2 that still haven't been reissued, but I was able to find a hell of a good deal on it. There's one I found a hell of a deal, and then a month later they repressed it. I'm like, son of a bitch. I had to know that the repress was coming.
Right.
But it does eventually come around. Just about in every instance, it's either going to get repressed or you're going to be able to eventually, if you look long enough, you'll find what you're looking for. So yeah. FOMO, I don't know, not a thing. But Record Store Day capitalizes on that, right? So,
well, yeah, they're gonna, and like Chance learned with his Macho Man album.
Macho Man,
so had to have it. I think it was an exclusive. I'm pretty sure it was a Record Store Day exclusive. But what I learned about Record Store Day and their exclusives is exclusive on this color vinyl, this purple vinyl, this red vinyl, whatever. But then they go and re-release it on black vinyl. It's not an exclusive anymore. This was exclusive, but now we're going to release 500 more copies of it, or thousands of more copies.
That happened to me. It pissed me off because I'm not on that particular album, but I'm a huge fan of the Bengals because, Susanna Hoffs. Anyway, the last album that they did, which is called Sweethearts of the Sun, I have a autographed CD version of it right there. But they finally pressed it on vinyl for the first time, I don't know, 2 years ago. But the first press was like extremely limited. It was a certain color, and they only made 300 of them. I'm like, holy shit. And I jumped on it, bought it from their web store. And I'm like, oh, I've got this album that I never thought would come out on vinyl. And then 2 months later, or a month later, they repress it again on like 3 different colors. And I go, son of a bitch.
And this is perfect example of just take your time.
Yeah.
It's going to come out. You're going to find it at some point. It's funny, when I got into collecting vinyl, I thought, oh, it's a Beatles record, Ooh, the Beatles, those are rare, didn't even have the concept of how many there were.
Well, and that's the thing, especially with the Beatles. There's more Beatles records pressed probably than anything else ever.
Right.
Yes, there are a few Beatles records that are rare.
Yes.
There's not, there's a few thousand Butcher covers out there.
Right.
Right. There's a few thousand, the Beatles and Frank Ifield. Most people go, I've never even heard of that. Exactly. There are a few of those, but a Sgt. Pepper, there's millions.
Yeah.
I like Richard's point right here. I had to slow down when I realized how much stuff I had that I forgot I had or barely played. I was only playing what I just bought. I was going through re-sleeving some records the other day, and as I was going through, I'm like, pulled some. Shit, I forgot I owned that. And then like 2 minutes later,
Yep.
shit, I forgot I owned that.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of there now because I haven't been collecting that long. I'm probably similar to Jason around COVID, and I went hard. You know what I mean? I bought everything, and like a lot of that stuff I bought at the very beginning, I haven't listened to in a year or so. Right? It's like, wow, I need to go back and slow down.
Yeah, I feel like that. I think Rob and I talked about that maybe on the podcast we did, but like I think that's just kind of a natural progression for a collector, is you, especially for guys like Curtis and I that aren't like in a big city, if you can find anything, you grab it and you hold on to it. And then now I can think of a few off the top of my head that I have that I grabbed early because they were there and I kind of had a vague idea of what they were, but I don't listen to them, and I got to start kind of thinning out the pile a little bit. But that's exactly what happens. You're grabbing everything. And another piece of advice would be like, don't grab something in crappy shape. Like, you can wait. You can stream that music until you find something that that plays the whole way through without a skip or something.
Yes.
Like, don't bring home crap. Unless maybe maybe that's just me being a little bit more picky and audiophile than the average person, maybe. But like, I wouldn't bring home something now that I knew someday I'm going to replace. Why am I buying it twice, right? So,
well, I was looking at my records the other night. I got about 800 albums, and I'm a busy guy. I work full time. I have a son that I love to spend time with, and a wife that I love to spend time with, and I have other things in life, and I have YouTube. So I go, there's some days I don't have time to listen to a record. It happens. And I thought to myself, if I listened to one record a day, it would take me 2 years to get through my entire collection.
Yeah, I don't like looking at it like that because that makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Right? So
yeah,
I don't need to be buying 20 records at a time. So
yeah, we get into that definitely.
Quality over quantity.
Let's see here. I'll skip a few comments, but Ivan says he mentioned streaming first and listen to other YouTube videos and then stream it if you want it. Absolutely. I find YouTube's a great place if I want to get into an artist. A good place to start.
Yeah.
That should be the go-to phrase when you run across a bad album. Shipped it to my brother in Saskatoon. Love it. It's awesome when you get a record in the mail weeks before you expect it. Yeah, it kind of makes you feel like you're,
I don't know what that's like, Dan. Thanks so much. Is that like a dig?
An insider. I'm still waiting for somebody to just, send me something, but never, like a band or label go. You see people like, now this is not a fair example, but Melinda Murphy, who's wonderful, but her channel's massive. But people send her, record labels send her albums from time to time.
Yeah,
but I want somebody to send me a record. Never gonna happen.
I think Greg Keeler's gonna send you some.
Greg Keeler I can give to. I mean, he's a gentleman. I love him, but he don't give a shit. If you guys like Afrobeat house disco, then
a
Bibio sound machine, right, with a new album. Pull the rope. He loves it. Cool. Yeah, that is so out of my wheelhouse. I
like the Afrobeat, but yeah, not the house and disco part.
I had FOMO once and broke down and paid triple for what it sold for on Amazon. A new sealed Beatles mono box. I, for being such a Beatles fan, don't have the mono box. I have all the mono remastered because I bought them all individually, but I don't have the box. I wish I did. So, Dan, Glenn is doing very well. Glenn has just started a second channel. Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice on CD. That's cool.
Well, I have to confess, this is a counterfeit.
Oh, looks good to me.
You got a bootleg.
It was.
I'm thankful I bought all the mono remasters. I just couldn't afford the box when they came out, so I bought like every week for like 4 weeks or whatever. I bought 2 or 3 of them, and I have them all. Thank goodness.
That's cool.
They're stupid expensive. But
now you said Glenn has a second channel.
Yeah, Glenn has started a second channel. So Glenn Calloway from the basement, the original founder of this live stream, which I am now the custodian of. Glenn's doing great. He started a new channel today called Bluegrass in the Basement.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of glad he did that because I wasn't. Yeah, he's big into the bluegrass, and I watch every Glenn video, but I'm like, Glenn, I'm having a hard time with this bluegrass.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad he did that. Okay.
Yeah. Glenn is doing well. Glenn and I tried to meet up last week because Glenn lives 3 hours from me. I literally drove right by his house to go to a customer's, but he wasn't home that day. So we couldn't connect. But I did a video last week with Jason and some other fellow Canadians about, Canadian music. We're going to do another one next month. Hopefully Curtis will join us as well. And Glenn will be on that one as well. So Glenn will make a reappearance, but he's doing well. I talk to him every couple of days. So we'll miss him. And anytime he wants to come join us, he's welcome. But he's usually always busy. So.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like, I don't know. I just listen to music. It's interesting how like Canadians, and I don't know if you talk about like your Canadian music so much. Like, I don't feel like I need to talk about my American music because it's not a judgment. It's like more like it's interesting to me. Like, is it because it doesn't get talked about enough and you want to bring attention to it, or
you know what I think it is? I think your perspective is skewed because you and I are good friends and we talk a lot, and that's my wheelhouse, right? So most Canadians don't give a shit. It's just that happens to be the thing that I'm passionate about because I'm kind of in the epicenter of the Canadian music scene. So,
and a lot of people too. So,
and I know a lot of people. I see a lot of shows and whatever, and it's just kind of the thing that I love.
There is something though. I think
there is something.
It feels like there's something.
There is something.
There's that guy's Canadian or that actor's Canadian. That Canadians do. I don't know why we do it either.
I think it's because we're so. And as we were trying to drill into this when we did our Canadian summit there last week or whatever. I think it's because we're so, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but America's presence looms very large. You're our next door neighbor, and you guys are 10 times the size of us population wise. You guys are massive, and we're the tiny little neighbor next door, and it's a deafening roar down there, and it's like the squeak of a mouse up here, right? So I think we're somewhat, when someone from here becomes successful, we kind of trumpet that to kind of go, look at us, like the little brother that's trying to impress his big brother. I think maybe that's what it is. And I don't mean that to trivialize us like we're the wimpy little brother, but
no, it's your team. You want your team to it's interesting. Okay.
That I think.
Richard says he's got 2,000 records, and I'm sure I have stuff I haven't played in decades.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Yeah, like you said, how do you get through
5,000 records? Holy moly!
Wow. Yeah, someone once sort of equated it like you're collecting records, not necessarily like you're collecting because you want to listen to it and you love the music, sure. But it was like a rationalization or justification was I'm trying to curate the perfect collection for me. I think Mazzy was talking about it once.
Killer, no filler.
I'm making a library of music here.
Right.
Like, am I going to read every book in the library? No. Chances are, in the case of music, you've listened to every book in the library, but you're trying to build the collection that you think defines you or your taste or whatever. And there's a lot of pride in what you put in that collection. And the unfortunate thing is you just end up running out of time to enjoy all of it. But
right.
Yeah.
Now, how about getting a record where it's like, oh, people will like it if I put this on, but it's not necessarily me. Do you ever do that?
Nope.
I kind of fell into that for a minute, like, because I always want people to get into the vinyl. It's like, okay, if I get this one, they hear it, they'll be cool. So I bought a couple here and there, and I'm like, I'll never listen to them, but I got it because maybe I could put it on, somebody will listen to it, and maybe because it's a lonely hobby, right? Like,
I guess I've done that when I think about like when I have people around or something, and I think, oh, this will go over well with a certain guest or something, and I kind of tangentially like it.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Yeah, and the other thing is like I put on there's certain songs you love, right? And I put it on the other day, and like I'm sitting at the table with my family and my daughter's boyfriend's over, and all of them are looking at me like, how do you like that song? I'm like, it's like one of my favorite songs ever. You know, it's like crushing, you know, it's like, how do you not get it? You know, that's hard to take, but that's kind of like being in the vinyl community. You have to understand people like stuff you don't like, or they're not going to like stuff you like. You know, you got to kind of accept it and just move on with it. But it still hurts when somebody's like, yeah, that song sucks. Oh, you know.
You know, it's funny. You mentioned it's a solitary thing, and you're right. Very few people in my circle of daily life in the real world even know that I'm a vinyl guy. And, you know, a couple of my best friends do it. I don't really talk about it outside of, you know, I'm not at work talking about, hey, I picked up this record, because I'm like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've had someone, you know, mention, you know, like, I was in the store the other day and I saw a vinyl record. Did you know that was a thing? And I go, yeah, I might know a little bit about that. And they go, really? I go, yeah, I got about 1,000 albums at home. And, you know, my hobby is I'm a YouTube guy talking about, and they go, really? And but generally I don't, it's not something I'm not ashamed of it. I'm quite proud of my collection and whatever.
You want to share it. Like I had somebody over I hadn't seen in years, a friend that we knew for 30 years, and he came in. I'm like, I got to show my vinyl collection. And I bring him in here, and he's like so unimpressed. He's like, okay. I'm like, do you not see what I've done?
Look at the work I put in here.
I'm like, you know. Yeah.
What's funny, someone came over to the house a while back. Is one of my son's friends' fathers, and he and I talk all the time at school, and I consider him a friend, but you know, I don't know him beyond, you know, the schoolyard, you know, talking about whatever, and they came over for, you know, to play or whatever, and I didn't think anything of it, so we came down to the rec room, which is just the other end of my room outside my office, and he comes around the corner and he sees my office with all my guitars and my records, and he literally stopped and went, holy fuck. And I went, yeah, that's the kind of reaction I like. But I hadn't even, I never thought to, because I'm like, I don't know if this guy likes music. I have no idea, but it was kind of fun.
Maybe I need to be more cool about it, like you, Rob, like just kind of go, yeah, you know.
It just didn't enter my brain that, you know, he might be surprised. And I'm like, who else can I bring over here? Because I liked that reaction.
Yeah. Well, you try and you're going to get disappointed.
Basement setup, Rob. Like, you have a great, like, no one would go in there and not be impressed with.
Yeah, the whole setup's great. Yeah. True. Especially with a Darth Vader helmet. And I have one now. Yeah. I go downstairs. I'll get one. I just got one.
There you go. You need one.
Darth Vader deal. So
yeah. I just saw online that Home Depot is now selling a 7-foot tall Darth Vader, like, Halloween decoration.
Really?
And I was like,
you better get it.
I saw this, and I'm like,
storing it, Rob.
And I went, hey, honey. And before I even told her what it was, she went, no. I go, but she goes, I don't even want to know. I could just tell by the tone of your voice you wanted to buy something expensive.
It's going to be expensive and stupid.
Right. And she goes, you used up your expensive and stupid when you bought a seat from the Rogers Center. I went, fair enough. Okay.
That's pretty cool, though.
It is very cool.
Did you see the footage of that drone show?
No.
With the, I think it was the May the 4th.
I'll have to check it out.
That's pretty cool. I think it was at a baseball game. And it's cool. If you get a chance, check it out. They have the drones and they're like basically acting it out. It reminded me like of an 80s video game or something. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Let me get caught up on a few comments here. I don't know exactly where we were, but let's just jump right back in here. Dan saying he bought the Van Halen Sammy Hagar era box set because of FOMO.
I have
paid too much and hasn't opened it yet. Open it up, man.
Yeah, open it, play it.
Plastic off of that.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. There's albums I hadn't even heard, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a big 5150 guy, so yeah, you got to open that sucker up.
Richard says it's worth it for balance and that other word. I would never use that other word.
For a though, yeah, you never use that kind of language, Rob. Yeah.
No, fuck, I would never use that kind of word.
You're a saint, Rob.
I know.
Yeah, I love that.
Ivan says I don't have so much Norwegian music. Okay.
See, I don't pay attention to that. Later on somebody will say, "Oh, that band's from wherever." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't really pay attention to that.
Dan says he's scared of the reviews saying bad pressing quality for that set.
If he's talking about Van Halen, I don't think I had any issues with that set.
Richard says he finds the sound to be fine. So
yep,
that's good.
I'm with Richard.
Glad to hear Glenn's doing good. Yes, I miss him too. Glenn is a super stand-up guy, and I'm glad that I get to see him from time to time. So
yeah, we both met him once in person, and he's just a big personality. He's
just the kindest man, and he's fun.
Yeah,
he's fun. Let's see here.
Crack it open.
What sucks is record stores will give you nothing for your albums, but a week later, that album they gave you $3 for is in the bin for $21. Yeah,
that's how they make their money.
Yeah,
I mean, I see it all the time. A box comes in, and they're like, "Okay, I'll pay." Depends. If it's a box, it could be $50 to $100, but they might have 3 records right in there that'll recover that money. I mean, they got to make their money.
Of course.
Yep. I kind of get to see that. It's kind of cool. You just got to know that's what they do. Sometimes if you get a store credit, though, it works out a little bit better for you as the seller.
That's one thing I've never done is I've never sold anything to a record store.
No. I probably need to get rid of some stuff.
But. Nah.
Yeah. That's stupid.
I funded some of my Christmas gifts this year. I was getting records. I'm trading in some records, and you're all getting records. Store credits.
Yeah, I just tell my family, don't worry about it. Don't give me anything for Christmas. I got it. We're good.
Same here. Just let me go record shop.
Mm-hmm.
Richard says his challenge is to get more people to check out the bands that he's a massive fan of. Biffy Silero?
I have not heard of any of them.
Feeder, Amplifier, etc. And they go, oh.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How nice for you.
Right.
Arcade Fire, so good live. Yeah, they're a good band.
How many? Yeah, I mean, some bands, it's like I would never pick up an album, but I think I would like to see them live. I think I would just enjoy the live experience more than the actual album.
Yeah.
Yep. JWG Moore says, love Biffy Siles.
Okay, I got to put that one down. All right, we got
Biffy C. We're going with, yeah.
Biffy C. Yeah.
Somebody needs to put in there. How do we pronounce these things?
Right. Just heard Arcade Fire is doing a tour soon. Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah, their social media just bumped up significantly over the past couple of days, so they must be getting ready to do something.
All right, I almost made it through the entire chat without somebody asking me this.
Oh no!
Here we go. Here we go.
This is not baseball.
Jason's leaving. What's the deal with the Jays?
Baseball. Screw this.
Well, the Jays suck.
It's an American sport, right? You know that, Rob. Come
on. Well, there's debate. Rumor has it there's a theory that the first game of baseball was played in St. Mary's, Ontario. Thank you very much. But
softball doesn't count.
It wasn't softball. We also invented basketball, but whatever.
Okay.
The Jays suck, and it's no surprise that they suck because they sucked last year and choked in the playoffs horribly and are absolutely incompetent general manager Ross Atkins did absolutely fuck all in the offseason, except for picking up Justin Turner, which I maintain was a good trade or a good acquisition, I should say. But they did nothing and expected the team to be better. And they have sucked. They won today, but they've lost like 11 of the last 14 games or something like that. All season they can't hit. Now the pitching's starting to falter, and I can't blame the pitching because when you've got no run support, you can't expect the pitchers to carry the game because you still have to score some runs. Vladdy can't do fuck all. He hit a grand slam the other day, and what pissed me off, he hit it and he stood there and he watched it. Run your ass to first base. I don't give a shit if it looks like it's going to be a sure thing. You run. You millionaire crybaby. I'm so sick of that guy.
Oh my God.
I would trade him.
Down, Rob.
That would be a good channel name, Millionaire Crybaby.
I would
like
trade him today. He is overrated. Yeah, he had an amazing season in 2021, but has not lived up to his potential since then. Bo Bichette has done squat. I get that people slump, but the entire team has slumped. The only people that are hitting, Justin Turner, Arnie Clement, Davis Schneider, they should be your top three in the lineup. I wouldn't even move Guerrero and Bichette to the bottom of the lineup. I'd bench them for a little while to get the message through your head, you prima donnas. You got to start playing some baseball. The only way to salvage this season is we fire John Schneider, the manager, because he can't manage. All he does is read the analytics, and whatever the analytics says is what he does. Fire him tomorrow. Make Don Mattingly, who's our bench coach, make him the manager. Fire Ross Atkins as our general manager. Trade Guerrero. Trade Bichette. I could keep going, but I get all fired up because I'm so passionate about this team, and I'm so sick of watching them suck.
I smell a second channel here.
No, that's the Blue Jay. Absolutely, that's the Blue. That's the curse of Toronto sports teams. It's just.
Have you guys won a World Series?
Two of them, 92 and 93.
All right.
Did you not watch my Canadian video last week? That was in the opening?
Joe Carter run.
No, I think
watch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Rob, do you score the games and things as well?
No.
Do you have your little card? Yeah.
Could, but I don't. I don't know why I wouldn't need to. I watch it.
Question.
I watch it and yell at the TV.
All right, DCM. Thanks for putting Rob in a shitty mood, buddy.
This TED Talk is brought to you by the letter J. Vladdy drove in a couple runs on singles today. Yeah. I mean, he did. I didn't see the game today, unfortunately, but I hope he gets his ass together. But even when he does hit a single, he trots down to first. Run. Like, God damn it. There's too many times he's been thrown out because he doesn't bother to run. And, you're running around the base when you hit the home run. Fuck off. You've hit 2 home runs all year. Drop the attitude. I can't stand them. Oh.
It's like
it's time to clean house from the front office all the way down and just rebuild the team. Atkins and Shapiro have turned this into Cleveland 2.0.
Yeah.
Sorry, no more baseball. See, I just said if no one asked me about the Blue Jays, and then that's what happens.
Let's talk baseball-related albums, okay? How about the Rolling Stones?
There is only one, Center Field by John Fogerty.
There you go. That is a good album. That's a very good album.
You know what I just found out the other day? And Jason and Curtis might appreciate this. So the Jays theme song, OK Blue Jays, it was recorded in like 83 or whatever. You know that song, right? OK Blue Jays, play ball. That's the same guy. The guy that sang it and wrote it is the same guy, Keith Hampshire, that wrote First Cut is the Deepest.
Really?
I had no idea.
That's pretty cool.
I knew Keith Hampshire did First Cut as the Deepest, which Sheryl Crow famously covered years later. And I have the 45 of OK Blue Jays, and it says Keith Hampshire and the Bat Boys. And I never connected that that's the same Keith Hampshire until the other day. And I was like, is that the same? And I Googled it, and sure shit, it's the same guy.
So who did the best version of that song? Because Rod Stewart does a pretty damn
I haven't heard
job.
the Rod Stewart one.
No?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart's pretty good one.
Listening to his albums, he covered a lot of songs. And
Yes.
he did a damn good job of making those songs his own.
I don't know which version I know.
Hmm?
I don't know which version it is I know.
Yeah, I mean, Sheryl Crow.
I think I like the Keith Hampshire one better than Sheryl Crow.
I don't know if
Sheryl
I've
Crow's
heard
is
Keith
fine.
Hampshire. Yeah. I mean, I knew the Rod Stewart until Cheryl did it on her greatest hits.
I was going to say that was only on her greatest hits, wasn't it?
Yeah. See, that's a case where I'm okay. I'm okay with. I don't think you're a big fan of it, Rob. If I'm remember of putting those extra songs on a greatest hits.
What's that?
I don't know which one. Putting an extra song on the greatest hits.
I'm not a giant fan of that because unless it's an artist that I'm a completist on, I'm probably not buying a greatest hits.
Mhm.
Or if it's an artist like I don't own many greatest hits. I think I might have maybe 6 or 8, and probably half of those are for an artist that I'm a completist on. So I don't know. I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, I guess it's a way to get you to buy the greatest hits, but
Yeah, maybe it is like you're saying, if it's an artist you're big into, like, Billy Joel's greatest hits, and they had volume 2 and whatever, and he threw extra songs on there, and I kind of liked it at the end. It showed where he was in his career, and then it kind of added some new songs up to that point where he was. So
the Blue Jays' greatest hit was Bautista's bat flip.
I remember you talking about that before. Yeah,
that was more magical than winning the World Series. But we're not talking about baseball, so stop bringing up baseball, everybody. God damn.
yeah, that's right. Cat Stevens covered it. I don't think he wrote it though.
No,
Yeah,
Keith
someone
Hampshire
Googled
wrote it.
that.
I
Who
guarantee you.
That's right. Cat Stevens does a good job of that too.
Yeah.
I think just for the raw feeling of the song, I have to, even though I love Sheryl Crow's version, I have to go with Rod Stewart on that version.
I didn't know he did a version, so I'll
it's
I'll
that.
check it out later.
Think about like Gasoline Alley days and that raspy voice and him singing that song. Yeah.
This is not a sports live stream. Why are we talking about sports?
Why are we going into sports?
And I'm a Habs fan, so I don't care about the Leafs. No more baseball.
I tried to get you over to the Rolling Stones. There you go. I tried to
No,
get you to the
talking about
Rolling
baseball.
Stones because they did all those Hackney Diamonds had all those baseball covers on it.
If I find the Blue Jays one, I'll buy it. But
Yeah, they just sold the Yankees one. We had a Devil Rays one over here.
That's right, Dan. I'm heading out in about 5 minutes to go watch that game. Yeah.
are you a Canucks fan, Jay?
Well, I'm just a bandwagon guy for playoffs, and any Canadian team will do, but I'll pull for the Canucks now. I was pulling for the Leafs, to be honest, but whatever. Here we go. Canucks.
I got to see a Canucks practice one time when I was in Vancouver, but never seen them play a game. That was back in the Luongo days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we're nearing the 2-hour mark, and since everyone wants to talk about sports, we'll wrap this up. We'll go around the horn. What's you guys put out anything recently? You got anything in the
Rob,
pipeline you want to tell folks about?
I have something.
Get out of town. Hold on. This is so important. We're going to do this.
Make them big.
Holy
Actually,
smokes.
that's a total lie. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, when are we getting another video out of you?
But I'm probably going to do our buddy Alex's video. We talked, like, that's a great thread for a great guy. If anyone else is watching that creates content, do a video for Alex's 500.
Let's talk about that. Let's give Alex a shout out. Alex will be back in a couple of weeks. He's traveling for work, so that's why he can't be with us tonight. Alex is doing a 500 subs contest, and congratulations for him for passing 500 subs. That's a good milestone. He's doing a contest where he wants people to show 5 records that remind them of someone that they love or care about, which I think is awesome.
What a great topic. Yep.
Yeah. It reminds me kind of the contest that I ran like 2 years ago, where I wanted people to show a record that reminded them of like an event in their life or a person, or because I was interested in hearing the story of why you connected with a piece of music rather than just, this is a record I like. Well, why? Like, what is there? Yeah.
I'm just going to show 5 Blue Rodeo albums, all for Rob, because I love Rob.
I think that would be fantastic.
This reminds me of Rob.
I don't think you own 5, but so I love Alex's contest. So
I've been enjoying a few of the ones I've watched so far. So
I'm going to shoot mine, and it'll be up on Sunday. But so Jason's going to do a video. That is really exciting.
Yeah, tomorrow or the next day I should. I already get the albums picked out. I just got to sit down and do it.
You should tell everyone about the video you participated in recently, for those that don't know.
Rob was a generous host and had a bunch of Canadian people on there, and we talked about Canadian music. That was a very fun conversation, I gotta say. I felt like such a patriot after that. I was like, yeah. Look what our country can do. But anyway, so that was a really fun time.
We are going to do a round 2 next month, and hopefully Curtis will join us. Glenn's going to join us, and it should be fun. So,
Yeah.
John, what do you got? You put out anything recently?
Yeah,
Anything in the works?
Yeah, I mean, every week I do the what's new at the record store. Just go there and do that deal. I just filmed one today, part of that series of checking out 3 albums or whatever. I got really interested in the Willie Nelson 90th birthday releases. They put out the first one, and then Record Store Day had volume 2. And I gave both of those albums a really good listen. And it's kind of, I don't know if you're into country or if you like Willie Nelson, but it was really neat just to see the songs he'd written and the songs he'd covered and chose to do. And it just put everything in perspective for me on him. So I went ahead and just did a separate video. I'm out there walking out there in the 88 degree heat here in Florida. That feels like 100. So I'm out there filming it, and I talked about a lot of things. They had a lot of, like Sam likes the Avett Brothers and things like that. Just so many artists came out and celebrated this thing with him. So I really enjoyed the albums. So that's my newest video I'm editing right now. So that'll be out next couple of days or so.
Cool. Yep. What about you, Curtis? You got anything you want to talk about?
Well, I haven't made a new video in a couple of weeks now, probably three weeks or more. But I got one that's planned right now. I got something came in the mail, a gift, I guess, a music related item. So I want to shout out for that. So I'm going to make a video about that, which is really, really cool. I'm excited about that. And I think I'll do like a recent pickup video soon as well. I'm about to go into my summer job, I guess, and so I'll be kind of off the radar really for a couple months while I'm doing this. So so I want to try to plug out a couple of videos before I go off the radar.
Nice. As for myself, Monday I had a video or a podcast episode up wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever. Look for the Vinyl Community Podcast. The video's been up on my channel for a couple of weeks, but Racer Joe and I talked about used records and kind of how that has changed over the course of the vinyl resurgence, and talked about Joe is opening a record store, a store within a store, the business that he works at, which is a kind of a stereo store, I guess. So that was a pretty interesting conversation. So check that out. And then I will have Alex's contest up on Sunday. So
yeah, I got to film that. I got to think about that one.
Awesome.
And Curtis, what is your channel?
Young LP Lovers. I do it with my daughters a lot.
Okay.
That's super cool, man.
Less and less all the time. They're becoming a little less interested, but that was where the name of the channel came from, my last name, and the girls being young and whatnot. So
yeah, that's cool. I did a search on it. I can't find the dang thing.
Rob put it in the little.
I'll put it in.
Do a tag because I want to sub you.
Sure. Cool. We'll do it up. Well, thanks, guys. Curtis, thank you for joining us for the first time. Hopefully, we'll do more of these things in the future. Thanks, John, for subbing in, which you do with some regularity. I appreciate it.
Yep,
thank you to everyone watching, all the regulars. We really appreciate that you spend time listening to us talk about records and me get pissed off at the Blue Jays. So it's always fun for us, and hopefully it's enjoyable for you guys. So please check out Jason Arsenault, Music Talk with John, Curtis from Young LP Lovers, and me, So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys. Pleasure.